Hi everyone, and welcome to this webinar organized by Weuni in partnership with Emilion Business School. My name is Federica, nice to meet you all, and I'll be your host for today's webinar on behalf of Weuni. I see here that the first people are already starting to join in, so we're gonna wait just a few seconds before starting to allow everyone to connect. In the meantime, feel free to say hi on our chat here on Zoom, and please tell us where are you from. We are curious. First of all, I want to thank everyone for joining us and thank our panelists for being here with us today. As you can see here, I'm not alone, and I want to introduce you all to Xavier and Thibaut, both program directors. Welcome. It's a pleasure to have you here. So today we are going to discover the masters in management of energy transition. You are also going to learn how these programs equips you with the skills, experience, and global exposure to kickstart your career. You also have the possibility to learn more about the internships, because this course is not just theory. With internships at leading companies, projects with international organizations, and a focus on cutting-edge energy and technologies, you'll be prepared for role in energy consulting firms, multinational energy companies, international organizations, and innovative startups. So you also have the possibility to interact with our speakers and ask them questions. Talking about that, I'd like to remind you that after the presentation, we will have a Q&A session where you will be able to ask questions to the panelists. So don't be shy and just type all type of questions that comes in your mind. And we will go through them at the end of the webinar. Also, for those of you interested in receiving a certificate of attendance by Weuni for this free masterclass, stay tuned because we will post the link to get the certificate at the end of the session. So I think we are able to start now, and welcome to those who just joined us. And now I'm leaving the floor to our panelists for their presentation. So enjoy this webinar and see you later.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Federica. Hi, everybody. So we are very pleased with Thibaut, actually, to have the opportunity to talk about how to jumpstart your career in the energy transition sector. More than a formal presentation, we would like really to engage a discussion with you, a conversation with you in order to maybe learn more about you. What do you expect? And how we can actually help you, at least during this webinar, to give you certain guidelines in order to steer your future career into the sector. Thibaut, are you okay? Maybe if we start to introduce to have a formal introduction, maybe to present us.
Sure, let's do that. Xavier, you start, then I can go ahead, and then I will move on to a couple of slides that we've prepared for you guys to introduce our program.
Yeah, thank you. Actually, my name is Xavier Beau. I'm an associate professor at Emilion Business School. But before academia, I had different lives. And I think it's especially interesting for you guys to take a few times, Thibaut and I, in order to talk about our future career, our current position, and how we envision ourselves in this sector, because it's a good example of what you can achieve and different pathways which are possible in the sector. So as for me, actually, I always been very interested into the energy space. I had the opportunity to do an engineering school and to pursue my first academic life until getting a PhD. I've always been interested into working on the finest technology in the sector. I did a PhD in the solar energy, photovoltaic systems, in order to improve the efficiency of different materials to develop the best and the most efficient solar cell in the sector. I was the little PhD in the team, and with a small team in France, we broke the world record in terms of efficiency. It was in partnership with a company, and we hold the world record actually for 5 years. And it was a tremendous experience for me because I learned also the hard way during that experience that having the best technology, in the world wasn't sufficient actually to sell it, to develop a solution that was actually useful for certain needs. Ultimately, even if we had the world record solar cell, we were not able actually to sell it at scale. So I learned the hard way that actually what you need to focus on is really the need, okay? It's really the consumption. How is it possible actually to understand the way we consume energy, the different needs in our society, in order to go backward and to develop useful technology. So understanding technology is one thing, but being able to deploy it at scale on the field is really, really important. And I think this is one of the first takeaway we try to put into the master, and something that guided us also in the design of this new master. So this is the first thing. After that, I had the opportunity to launch different companies. I wanted to actually become an entrepreneur and to be on the field in order to participate concretely to the transition. I had 3 companies in the energy space before going back to academia in 2021, because at that time I decided that it was also important to have an impact in class and maybe to reflect back on what I learned regarding certain experiences I faced during my second entrepreneurship life. So since 2021, I'm in charge of different teachings at EM Lyon, not only teachings regarding energy transitions. How is it possible to deploy at the fastest way at scale solutions, but also to understand, organizations, industries in order to decarbonize them. And this is really the two sides, the two faces of the same coin. Okay, the supply, what you need to develop in terms of solutions, but also the demand. Okay, what are the real needs? Into in different sectors to decarbonize their energy demand. So I'm teaching different things at this level. I'm also studying companies in transition, doing and writing business cases in the field. It can be companies into working in the wine industry, as well as the decarbonization of the mining industry. So it's very, very large, and this is what's making my job very, very interesting. I'm also working on the adaptation field, even if it's not directly connected to to the master program. Mitigation and adaptation are closely linked. So at EM Lyon, we launched a research share with a leading insurer in France in order to understand what are the new business models regarding adaptation. And this is also a fascinating sector to explore. So over to you, Thibaut, in order to continue the presentation.
Thanks, Xavier. So if you guys are now thinking, oh my gosh, energy is so much an engineer thing, we just had a short presentation of Xavier, who obviously is an engineer and works on the energy field. If you're not an engineer and you're thinking this is not for me, please stay tuned, because I'm not an engineer either. I come from the political science field. So I started my career basically in China, where I work for a consulting company, and I did a PhD on China's energy policies. That led me to focus somehow by chance on energy efficiency. So I worked with an American foundation from Beijing, so French working with an American foundation in Beijing, with another company which was from Canada. And I'm insisting on this because I believe this gives you an idea of the type of projects that you may be working on in the future, the type of international crowd that this may bring. And yeah, so I was working on industrial energy efficiency, more specifically on conducting energy audits, energy use assessment, and providing solutions to companies from the ammonia industry. So something extremely technical. I had, when I joined this project, absolutely zero idea of how a factory works, what the processes are, and everything. I still know very little, to be honest, but I was able to catch up on all these, and I was able to gain the sufficient knowledge, which is ridiculous as compared to an engineer, but the sufficient knowledge to conduct and coordinate the project. So that was my first my deep dive in the real life energy sector after my PhD. I then worked with different international organizations, the International Energy Agency based in Paris, and then the United Nations with a focus on public-private partnerships. So engaging with companies and then with all this, after bringing together all these different private stakeholders, bringing solutions, energy efficiency solutions to national governments, city governments, working on the improvement of the building standards in the city of Mexico, working on the development of district energy systems, district heating and cooling systems in India, or working on the improvement of energy performance of SMEs in different African countries. That was, and also participating in the organizations of the Conference of Parties 21, COP21 in Paris, that resulted in the Paris Agreement. Later, I joined yet another organization that is supporting countries in their climate plan design and implementation. There, I worked a lot with sub-Saharan African, mostly West African countries, notably on the engagement of the private sector in order for them to implement their climate plans and reach their goals in the energy field. And then I started working as a consultant. I joined EM Lyon about a year ago to work with Xavier on the development of this master, which is one of the most exciting thing I've done so far in my career. And I'm also an advisor with a think tank, a French-based European think tank, the Jacques Delors Institute, working on several European projects on critical raw materials, building efficiency, and keeping also some projects as a consultant, mostly on carbon markets in Africa. So that's about my experience, just to show you that from a PhD in political science, you can actually do many, many different stuff and visit many exciting countries, see many exciting people and discovering many exciting things. But we've been talking a lot about ourselves. This was really in order to give you an idea of a background and how you can move from one field and one place to another with an energy background. But now we would like to talk more specifically about our master, the master program that we are launching. And for that, we have a presentation that I'm trying to share with you. And I think you should be seeing my screen now. Hold on a sec. You should be seeing my screen and the presentation should be full. Okay, great that you're seeing it. So, by the way, this is a picture of our campus in Lyon, the brand new campus. But if you join us, you won't be seeing it, at least not immediately, because this master degree is based in Paris, which gives us access to many different companies, organizations, experts, and everything. And which also makes complete sense in terms of international exposure. So the idea was first to introduce ourselves, and we've already done that. You see some fancy pictures here. You see a summary of our bios, but let's move on and let's talk about the outline. So the outline, sorry. So I'm first gonna tell you about what we're talking, what the role of energy transitions is today, because we are experiencing what some people call a backlash, and you may think, you probably don't think that if you're here tonight, but still, you may have heard that clean energy transitions is something of the past now. We are moving back to fossil fuels, and energy transitions don't make any sense. And those people who tell you that are wrong, and we're going to tell you why. Then we are going to explain what recruiters, we believe, are expecting from you if you want to work in the energy field. And then I will hand the floor over to Xavier, who will tell you about, we will give you an in-depth presentation of the program itself. And then we will answer the questions you may have, which actually we can also answer right now. If you have any pressing question, please feel free to fill in the QA box that should be at the bottom of your screen, and we will be happy to answer them either now or later. So let's start off by the energy transitions and whether this is still a thing. So you probably, I hope you're reading the news, and I hope that you're seeing that climate skepticism is on the rise. There's a lot happening in the US on that matter after Donald Trump election, but not only in the US. The new parliament in the EU, in Brussels and Strasbourg, are also more reluctant to promote the Green Deal than the previous parliament. In different countries, including France, we are seeing some huge debate and extreme cautious about the deployment of renewable energy and of energy efficiency policies. Some are calling for a violent backtracking. We have less money to invest in these technologies, and some iconic and very inspiring programs like the Inflation Reduction Act that were launched by the Biden administration are actually being dismantled. The IRA was a program aiming to support the clean energy industry in the US, and it's being dismantled. So big questions about this energy transition. Now, we believe, however, that energy, no matter what type of energy, which will remain at the center. That's pretty obvious. I mean, you have the question of the gas in Ukraine, the question of gas, but not only, also the question of the critical raw materials. We are seeing all the negotiations between Kiev and Washington on these issues. Artificial intelligence, sorry, I put the French acronym here. It's AI. Artificial intelligence is growing, and it uses a lot of energy. So we need to be able to power it. Mobility is transforming. We now are seeing electric vehicles spreading everywhere. And yeah, the energy transition simply is unstoppable. We believe renewable energy will still continue to break records. We are pretty sure it will. And typically you can see here on these illustrations the share of coal in the US electricity mix, which has dropped dramatically. And even if Trump tries to counter this trend, he will have enormous difficulties. This will cost him enormous amount of money and efforts, and he will not be able to go back to where the US were 25 years ago. And in the meantime, let's face it, there's a business case for renewable energy, for the clean energy transition, and it's solar energy becoming the cheapest energy source. And then you have all the other benefits of other types of energy and energy efficiency and everything. But here I'm starting to make the class that I shall be giving later this year. So I will move on to the next slide. But just to tell you that the energy transition is here to stay. The energy transitions are here to stay. So now that we've explained this, let's see what you can do in that field, or more specifically, what people and even more specifically, what recruiters are expecting you to do in this field. So in the preparation of the course of the curriculum for this master, Xavier and I have conducted lots of interviews with big HR companies, global HR companies that specialize in energy. We've talked to utilities, we've talked to think tanks. We've really tried to understand what people want, what these people want from the students that are entering the job market now, but also what they will want 2, 3, 5 years from now. And what they want is first some technical knowledge. Again, we're not talking about engineering. We're not talking about people being engineers. We're talking about some people who will be able to understand the topic they're working on. Be it on fossil fuel, because fossil fuels are still here, and we will cover them in our class. Energy efficiency, new energy solutions like PV, hydro, biomass, hydrogen, nuclear storage, artificial intelligence, carbon capture, critical materials, and so forth. We will be and we will be really covering all these topics for you guys to have some at least enough knowledge to work on this. Then business hard skills. Business hard skills are crucial, and we're a business school, so this is our core, or this is our specialty. And we will also teach hands-on skill to manage ambitious energy projects. I told you about my experience, a French being in Beijing, working with an American foundation and with some Canadian consultants on local ammonia factories. That's very common. It's a common situation. You always have international situations with many stakeholders from different countries. So you have to be able to manage ambitious energy complex projects. You also have to be able to conduct some carbon accounting, financial auditing, to be an innovator, to be an entrepreneur, and we'll be teaching you all this. Then last but not least, and something that is too often forgotten, the soft skills. So all that relates to project management, to agility, to the ability to adapt to new situations, to different cultures, the capacity to build narratives that will sell your projects to public affair, to the governments, local, national, European governments, the possibility to manage complex partnerships and to handle international affairs. These are the things that recruiters are expecting from you, and this is what we're offering, but Xavier will give you a deeper dive into our work and our curriculum.
Thank you, Thibaut. So I will try not to repeat what you already fabulously presented. But let's say, to deepen the presentation, that remember what we said regarding our own journey. We came from different worlds. We mixed that into a coherent vision in order to have a fruitful and impactful career. Each of us in a different way. So we try to from that experience to fuel actually the curriculum. For sure, having a multipolar approach is really important for us. Not only talking about technical understanding and business skill. This is the first two pillars that will be linked. But also, and I'm sure you get it, we talk about energy transitions with the plural. Okay. Because actually the way we approach the transition is different depending on the local situation, culture, resource, financial situation, etc., etc. So we really want to mix the different perspectives from different continents, okay, Europe, but not only, also Africa, Asia, in order to actually to help you to build, a toolkit to adapt in different kind of situations with concrete courses, hands-on experience projects. We're gonna talk about that. So embracing different dimensions will be very key in that curriculum. So not only business and technical understanding, but also public policy. It can be local negotiation, etc., etc. So for sure, today, and I will not detail everything, but today we can talk about the different needs regarding the workforce to develop new solutions. But the vast amount and the biggest and the most urgent need are on deploying solutions, being a project manager in order to help to roll out new projects in the offshore wind sector in Europe or China, also in interconnection and the transportation of energy. It's major bottleneck for many things. Nuclear power, charging infrastructure for electric vehicle deployment, etc., etc. The goal of this program is also to provide you deep dives on key subsectors to understand what are the best strategies to either decarbonize them or help them actually to be scaled at a faster rate. So Thibaut, maybe we can move on the next slide. So there are three main missions you can expect from that curriculum. And in that table, we presented the three main missions divided into different examples of jobs that could be applied to different organizations. But of course, this is a simplification. Of course, you can imagine different other pathways. Okay, this is just to give you an idea. You can work in deploying new solutions in major utilities. Okay, sorry, Thibaut. Yeah, or you can be a business developer if you want to help, if you want to work in a startup manufacturing new energy panels. The second pillar is regarding is actually about being an energy climate carbon manager into an existing company, which needs actually to be decarbonized. So you need to understand the processes. You need to understand how people works together. You need to understand the different stakeholders of the company. Okay, so this is not only a technical job. This is also, I mean, human is really at the center of this kind of job. Okay, to understand the processes, the business, to find a new business case in order to help the company to transition toward, a low carbon activity. Okay, so this is the second pillar. And of course, if you want, you can be in a third space, let's say being an enabler. Okay, being a consulting on a consultant on this project. You can also be an analyst if you want to go for certain exciting jobs into leading think tanks or foundation. Okay, or even working in the public policy space in certain international or governmental agencies. And Thibaut is a great example of that if you are interested in certain leading international agencies, such as International Energy Agency, to name a few. So Thibaut, can we move on the next slide, where shortly in 2 slides we're gonna. Oh, sorry, I didn't. I forgot to present you. No, Thibaut, it was okay. Thank you. So I think we had already questions regarding the professors. Okay. So the professors in the curriculum, they are really international. We have, of course, French professors from EM Lyon, but not only. And the scholars at EM Lyon are very international. So you're going to have also scholars coming from many different countries. But Professors are just like a small share, of the lecturers you're gonna meet into that curriculum. You're gonna have lecturers from, of course, leading utilities and energy companies such as General Electric, RWE. You're gonna have lecturers and teachers from international agencies such as IEA or International Renewable Energy Agency. You're going to have lecturers from also leading research institute in France, CEA, which is focused on certain renewable solutions, and IFP Energy Nouvelle as well. But not only, we can also talk about certain think tank, such as RMI, which is a leading American think tank that will give you actually an amazing teaching on carbon capture. You will have also European think tank involved, such as the Jacques Dollard Institute, etc., etc. As you can see, you will also have the opportunity to meet and to work on concrete business cases coming from consulting companies such as McKinsey, but not only, also from certain startup and scale up. And we can talk about Verkor, which is one of the biggest gigafactory project in the battery field in Europe, which is currently emerging in the north of France, and you're gonna have to work on that concrete business case. So it's gonna be very exciting. Elise Energy is on green molecules such as hydrogen. So it's another startup which is a bit smaller than Verkor, but still like an amazing opportunity to meet real builders. Thibaut, can we move on the next slide? So very briefly, the program we are proposing you is divided. No, yeah, it's divided. It's perfect like that. Thank you. It's divided into 2 years. Each year you will have the opportunity to work in 3 to 4 periods. The first year, the first term will be focused on let's say, on providing you the foundation in order to understand energy transitions. Okay, understanding the different technologies from the new world which is emerging, but also from the old world, let's say. Okay, we are in a mid-transition, so we also need to understand the current infrastructure which is fossil fuel based. Okay. Second term will be the lead term, let's say, where you're gonna work on innovation and new business model. Okay, from the first technical understanding you acquire in the first term, you're gonna be able to work on concrete entrepreneurship project. You're gonna be able to think about new recycling and new circular approach to revamp certain business model. After that, you're gonna have the opportunity either to pursue your entrepreneurship project, and I'm gonna maybe detail that in the last slide. I let you here. Or from May to August in the M1, you're gonna also have the opportunity to take an internship. Second year, this is the where you're gonna be able to jumpstart your career. Second year, in the first term, it's the plant phase. This is where you're gonna acquire the necessary hard business skills and soft skills to manage project on the field. It's going to be foundational as well, because in the scale phase, so in the second term, we're gonna help you actually to review about a dozen of sectors, okay, in order to learn the best strategy to decarbonize them or to scale the best solutions. And in that phase, you're gonna have the opportunity to work on concrete field missions. The last academic term, let's say, will be an exchange in Shanghai. And this is an amazing opportunity because in Shanghai, of course, you will be at the heart of the leading of the energy transition in the leading country in the world. Understanding how is it possible to manage projects in Asian country, but also to understand the scale of solutions on three key solutions, which are solar panels, batteries, and electric vehicles. And of course, you're going to conclude the curriculum with a 6 months internship, or if you have an entrepreneurship project, it's going to be the good occasion for you to pursue it in order to give you the best opportunity to launch your startup at the end of the Master of Science. So can you just, present everything, Thibaut? Just a short deep dive, just to highlight the added value of our program. Okay, I will not detail everything, but this is the main phases here. Okay, so remember in the first term, this is the learn phase where you're gonna have a giant primer on the energy transition. I'm not gonna detail that, but for those of you who wants to understand the different key elements of that term, they are listed here. The lead phase, as you can see, you can have a climate tech entrepreneurship, a course that will actually help you to structure the whole term. You're going to work on a startup project during the whole term, but not only, you will have other courses, such as a course on system dynamics. For those of you who doesn't know that, system dynamics is really the foundation of the report limits to growth. Okay, so this is a very interesting approach to understand systems and how we can change them through tipping points, etc., etc. This is also a very diverse term where you can see you're going to have teachings on climate risk adaptation. You're going to have teachings on interaction with other grand challenges in terms of social impact, etc. And you're going to have also certain key insights regarding public policy and how is it possible to understand and to align, to have a multi-level alignment between the different stakeholders. Second year, the plan phase is a bit special, actually. The first term of the second year, you're going to have different teachings regarding supply chain, regulation, local governance, carbon strategy. I will be in charge of that in order to decarbonize an industry. But you will not only have teachings. You will have projects, but you will have also the opportunity to take extra certificates. And this is something we are very proud of. Even at the end of the first year, you're going to have that. Look at the blue items: life cycle assessments, carbon assessments, but not only project management with PMI certifications, financial auditing. These are extra certificates that that you will have the opportunity to take in order to actually to promote your experience to leading companies in the future. And we will co-finance these certificates for you. So in parallel of the teachings, you will have the opportunity to be certified to do carbon footprint assessment, for instance. And we know this is of a great value for your future company. This is not an obligation. If you are not into carbon footprint assessment, maybe you're going to focus on project management with PMI, which is the one and the biggest certification in the world in terms of project management. Okay, so we're going to have a system where you're going to be able to choose a certain number of certification, and we're going to help you, and we're going to co-finance a part of this certification in order to be really appealing also on the job market. And finally, on the last term of the second year, as you can see, this is the scale phase. So we're going to review altogether a dozen of sectors. We will not only do that. You're going to have teaching on these sectors in order to understand the best strategy. But in addition to that, you're going to have to choose one field mission in order to deepen a key sector. So everybody will have the teachings on the dozen sectors. But per group, you're going to have to choose one sector, and we're going to provide you a real-life field mission connected with an external partner, a company. You're going to have during the rest of the term to work concretely on that project. And this is something that I want to emphasize just to finish what I need to say. Every term has a red thread. Okay, so it's not highlighted here, but during the first term, you're going to have not only to take the teaching, but you're going to have to work concretely per group on a position paper. And this position paper will be actually, you will have the opportunity, we will have the opportunity to publish the best position papers in a leading European think tank. And this is something very interesting, okay? So you're going to be in the position of a professional analyst, taking all the knowledge we provided you in order to work on a concrete, project for a think tank. And if for the finest position papers, you will be published. The second term of the first year, you're going to have to work on a startup project in partnership with an accelerator, an incubator. This is something that we are very proud of, and we're going to announce the accelerator we partner with in the future. But you're going to work is going to be the red thread. The first term of the second year, there is no strict red thread, but you're going to have time actually to work on an extra certification you decide to choose. Okay. And of course, the last term of the second year, you're going to have a field mission on your own in partnership with the company. Okay, I think it's pretty dense and rich. Sorry for that, guys, but maybe we can review the different questions, Federica.
Yes.
And I think we already had the occasion to answer some of them.
Yeah, perfect. So hello again, everyone. First of all, I want to thank our panelists for the accurate presentation and for these useful testimonials from all of them. And I see that we received lots of questions. So I'd like to remind you that there's still time to ask questions, so you can write them in the Q&A box. So I'd like to start with the first one, that is, how international is the program, both in terms of faculty and classmates?
So I think,
yeah, if you want to go ahead, because I
yeah,
already...
no, because you already partially answered this question with the group of companies, and even if if the professors happen to be French, they all of them, I think, have an international experience. And one thing which is very interesting that actually surprised us is that it took a very long time for French applicants to come through. So during the first months of, because the applications for the master degree. Yes, this is something we probably should tell you a little about. You can apply right now. It's open. It's been open since September, and you would have to go through a few tests and written and oral contributions online. But happy to happy to orient you to the people who will give you more info about this. And yeah, so we had lots of people coming from Asia, a few from Africa, a few from the US, but the French only started to appear in a few weeks ago. And hopefully we will have a few of them who will be accepted. But that is just to say that it's very international. And we have very exciting profiles, by the way.
Yeah, perfect. And another one is, does the curriculum also include the technical knowledge about renewable energy technologies, or is it focused purely on business and management?
Yeah, so I think we already covered this question. If you want any additional information, we can perfectly, deep dive and focus on a given course. But I think it's like the general the overview. It's pretty clear.
Yeah, fantastic. So, how is sustainability integrated across the different courses in the program?
Well, I mean, we are sustainable by DNA. Energy, I mean, sustainability is not strictly speaking only energy and carbon, mitigation, abatement. But this is why we included different other teachings, the grand challenges, We covered many business cases. We didn't have the time to talk about that, but we have a consulting methodology course in second year where we're going to have many different business cases, real world business cases from leading consulting company. And we're going to talk about sustainability at large, for sure.
Yeah, adding on to this, because I'm not sure this was very clear. It's a master on energy transitions, right? But you can work in other companies. The idea also is as you graduate from this curriculum, you can also be responsible for the decarbonization or, in a broader term, sustainability of a company that has nothing to do with energy, except that they will be using energy like every company.
Thank you so much. So next question is, are there real-world project or consulting assignment with companies involved in the energy transition?
Yeah, again, I think we had the opportunity to cover that, but
Yes.
maybe let me take this opportunity to highlight the fact that so you have the official curriculum, which is very interesting, is the fact that we are adding many other opportunities, such as keynotes, visits of industrial sites, forums with career forums with companies, and also a major conference. Okay, we are working on a major conference, the Paris Energy Week. I don't know, Thibaut, if you want to talk about that briefly, but I think it's a good occasion also.
Yeah, there's a question about that also
really?
in the Q&A about international events.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
we can.
Maybe we can.
But you finish answering and I'll present it shortly.
Yeah. So you
I mean,
have
as you wish.
so the different opportunities to meet, like professionals, existing professional working in different energy companies, industries, etc. So you have lecturers coming from these different sectors. You will have keynotes, you will have career forums, you will have also Red Thread, okay? Working on a startup project, working on field missions with partners, okay? And inside the teachings, different courses, we're gonna also have guest lecturers that will also testify about their or provide a real examples, a business case. So we're gonna really fuel the curriculum at each level with hands-on project.
And if this is not enough, if you still think you won't be able to meet the people that you are specifically targeted, you can also use the opportunity of the development of the research paper to target the topic you should target the topic you want to work on and take this opportunity to go and have interviews with companies that you're interested in. With people that you may not have the chance to meet through our curriculum. We're really doing our best to introduce you with everyone. And we're going to have small classes, like between 20 and 30 students. So we will get to know you better. And we're happy to have conversations with you. We won't be finding you internship or jobs or whatsoever, but we can direct you, help you finding what you're looking for specifically.
Maybe I want to emphasize something because this is really important. We want to put you in the position where you are not a student, but you are a future partner. Okay, so working on a position paper in the first term of the first year is the best also opportunity for you to do outreach, okay, to promote yourself, to develop an expertise, and to promote it to the world. Okay, so we really want to partner on that. Okay, so this is really really kind of philosophy we want to push in this program.
Thank you so much. And
yeah, so maybe I should tell you very quickly because I see that time is running out about the Paris Energy Week. This is a yearly event that we're planning to launch for the first time during the first week of December of this year. This year is very special because we will be celebrating not only the 10 years of the Paris Agreement, but also the 10 years of the Sustainable Development Goals that were decided at the General Assembly of the UN in 2015, and which include SDG 7 on energy. So this is going to be an opportunity to bring other stakeholders that are not teaching, that are not that you would not have the chance to meet through the curriculum itself. So companies, NGOs, whatsoever. And in order to organize this, we're partnering with other universities, engineering, political science, and so forth. There will be 3 days of high-level conference with breakout sessions that will give you the opportunity to dive deeper into some specific topics, to do lots of networking, also to meet students from other universities. And then there will be a 2-day challenge where you will be put in the situation where you have to create your own company. And we will be having some sponsors. Again, this will be mixed with students from the top French universities, basically. And it's going to be super exciting.
Thank you so much. And another question is about the language. So are French language skills required for the program or for internships in France, sorry?
So yeah, the program is only in English. It's fully in English. So this is a no-brainer at this level. But for internship, it depends. You have many international French companies where you can find international English-speaking teams. So there is no problem. You have many ambitious startup and scale-ups which wants to deploy, internationally. So there is no issue at this level, but you can find, of course, if you want to. It depends on the team and the size of the company and the type of company you are looking for. Of course, in French, we like to speak French, but more and more you have international and English-speaking environment in many large companies.
Yeah, we are talking about Paris, so this is really the capital city. You have many
and the reach of the program.
And sorry.
Go ahead.
No, and also Europe the European countries are small, so you can also choose to do your internship in Brussels, in the UK, wherever. So there's plenty of opportunities here.
Yeah, the reach of the program is really European. Of course, we are French. We cannot deny that. But really, we position ourselves at the European level, so it offers many more opportunities. So briefly about the next question, Federica, if you're okay, I answer this one about the role.
Of innovation or entrepreneurship play in the program, and can students develop their own sustainability-related projects?
Okay, I think you got it. I'm an entrepreneur by heart. I love that. We have a whole semester, a whole term, and the second term of the first year, where we're gonna talk about innovation and entrepreneurship, and you're gonna have room during that term to design and to think about your own venture. Okay, so the climate tech entrepreneurship course will be about that. Okay, giving you the best tools from great entrepreneurs and giving you a framework in order to think about your own venture. Okay, and if you want to pursue that, during the internship phase at the end of the first year, we can also provide you times in order to pursue that project. So really, we really want to push that kind of mindset and project. So it's clear.
Yeah, perfect. And thank you. And next one is, please, I'm a third-year marketing student in Ghana, Africa, doing my undergraduate program. Can I enroll in this program because I'm very interested in the program?
Thanks for your interest. You have to be graduated. So you have to finish your undergraduate program. You have to have your diploma as the program begins. But otherwise, as Xavier mentioned, we're more than happy to welcome any students from any origins. We know Africa is a new frontier in terms of energy. We have some classes on energy and development. We are really trying to develop our outreach to African speakers and African students. So you're more than welcome.
Perfect. Thank you. And next one. How can governments balance energy security with climate goals during the transition?
So we are answering more technical questions here than on the master degree. This depends on the country you're talking about, you're from. But when we're talking about countries like Europe, the countries in Europe that are dependent on fossil fuel supply, on supplies, external supply for our energy, we crucially need to develop our energy independence. Typically, we've seen this with Russia, what happened when we cut. When we had to reduce, we haven't cut it. We were not even able to cut it, to reduce our gas supply from Russia. This created a huge energy crisis. And electrifying, developing renewable energy solutions is the best way to prevent from this disruption. So it's the best way to obtain our energy independence. But it also means developing local industry because we're highly dependent on components from all around the world, including China. And speaking of China, China is also an oil, gas, coal producer, but they also need to develop their own clean energy base, also for energy security purposes, because they're also dependent on foreign supplies. Just a very short answer of this complex question.
Of course. And another one, and this is the last one, that is, what financial mechanism can attract private investment into clean energy projects in developing countries?
Okay, that's not an easy one either. I would say that you need, any traditional finance mechanism will work. What company will be needed is what financial companies, investors will need is a pipeline of convincing projects. That's projects where they can have data, where they can measure the results, and where they can have return on investment. That's absolutely crucial. What they're looking for beyond this is also stability, long-term planning, and again the guarantee that they can have a clear return on investment. This may be a little too traditional of an approach, because I know there's a lot happening in Africa. I know that finance is not going through but there are new finance mechanisms that are being developed. Carbon market is one of them, and I'm not going to go through this because in 2 minutes it's not going to be possible. And we need to develop new financing mechanism, typically this debt swap that we're seeing appearing here and there, all types of new stuff that are happening, but these are happening, and that's one of the things that make things really exciting.
And maybe as a key takeaway, the fact that you're going to have teachings on carbon finance, climate and carbon finance, if you come to the Master of Science. Not only that, but what you mentioned just before, Thibaut, the fact that traditional finance can be applied to many, many different countries, but it needs new de-risking approach. So assessing risk, understanding, the different factors, fueling vulnerabilities for key projects, infrastructure projects, which have, a very long lifespan. This is the kind of traditional also investment approaches that you need to know they exist to tune them in the future. So this is kind of, I think, also knowledge we provide in different teachings, especially in year 2 when we talk about financing infrastructure.
Thank you so much. So I want to thank you. I want to thank you all, our fantastic panelists, and also all the participants. And I'd like to remind everyone interested in receiving a certificate of attendance by Weuni that you can click in the links that you find in the chat right now and request it. And before we say goodbye, I'd like to ask our panelists if they would like to leave our participants with a message.
I think we already had the opportunity to explain in depth our philosophy, but really which is really important that I want to remind is the fact that we're not looking only for students, we're looking for future partners, people who are already in their mindset, working hard to connect with us, to work together in order to during the curriculum, but in their early careers to work with us. Okay, so this is very important for us. It's not only getting the degree. It's about creating a partnership, like a lifetime partnership. And I'm not saying that just to please you. We already had the occasion to teach on many things at UM Lyon, and I have dozens of examples of amazing students I had who are already now, working as managers and as manager and we're working not every day, but every month with like a cohort, the alumni, and this is really, really interesting and important.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I'm in big trouble now because that's exactly what I wanted to say. Yeah, we're looking for peers basically, and no. Then what I can say is that come with us, and I'm pretty sure that we will have fun all together.
Thank you. Thank you again to our speakers and everyone connected with us today. And I hope to see you again in the next webinar organized by Weuni. So bye everyone and have a nice day.
Thank you. Bye.